Imagine this scenario. A massive, heavy load hanging midair, slowly rotating into place on a packed industrial site. You've got hands guiding it, everyone's focused, and then suddenly, the rope they're using to steer it, the lifeline between the ground crew and potentially thousands of pounds of steel, it snags. It twists up, maybe it kinks, or worse, it snaps back, yanks someone right off their feet. It's not like a catastrophic crane failure, but in that split second, precision's gone, control's lost.
Right.
And what should have been just another routine lift becomes this heart-stopping near miss, or, something far worse.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really cutting through the noise to look at exactly these kinds of high-stakes moments. We're talking heavy industrial lifting, and specifically one of the most basic yet maybe most overlooked tools in the whole process, the guiding tagline.
Yeah, that's right.
For way too long, I think the standard old rope has been seen as, well, good enough. But the costs, when you actually look at them, both the human cost and the financial ones, they're frankly staggering.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to unpack the critical role these tools play, dig into the problems with traditional methods, and then really explore how an engineered solution, specifically the IndustrialHD Redtail-coated guiding tagline from PEnergy.com, is tackling these issues head-on. We're going to examine what makes innovations like this so vital for worksite safety and, just as importantly, operational efficiency. Okay, so let's unpack this ugly truth a bit. When we talk about controlling these massive payloads, could be an I-beam, a huge pipe section, maybe a specialized piece of machinery. The consequences if that load starts swinging free, they're incredibly real. It's not just about, bumping into something else, is it?
Oh, not at all. You're absolutely right. The moment, say, a 1,000-pound payload starts moving unpredictably, you're suddenly fighting physics, pure kinetic energy.
Right.
That pendulum effect. It turns what should be a controlled operation into a serious hazard zone. And the consequences, well, they range from things like dislocated shoulders, crushed fingers, right up to truly catastrophic incidents, fatalities even. These aren't just like abstract risks. They are severe realities, stuff that impacts the entire crew, the whole project timeline. The stakes just couldn't be higher. And that's exactly why regulatory bodies like OSHA are so stringent about load control. They know how fast a situation can escalate.
And you mentioned earlier that traditional ropes themselves can be a liability. What exactly does that mean? Is it just that they wear out, or is it something, I don't know, more fundamental about how they behave?
It's definitely more fundamental. It's kind of fascinating, actually, how this seemingly simple tool, the tagline, becomes absolutely mission critical, yet the traditional ropes often just fall short.
How so?
Well, they're typically made from materials, natural or synthetic fibers that, sure, they're strong, but they're really prone to knotting up, jamming in sheaves or fair leads, and fraying, especially under the kind of constant tension, friction, and frankly brutal environmental exposure you get on a job site. So imagine that load shifts unexpectedly. A traditional rope, it can bind up instantly. Or worse, it can stretch and then recoil with this really unpredictable, dangerous force. That tendency to tangle or snag, often at the absolute worst possible moment, puts your team and your project timelines directly, in the crosshairs. It stops being just an inconvenience and becomes a direct threat.
Okay, so problem identified. Traditional taglines, simple as they seem, bring a lot of risk and inefficiency into the picture. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the industry has been searching for better answers. We're going to dive into one of those innovations now, the IndustrialHD Redtail-coated guiding tagline. It's an engineered solution from PEnergy. They're calling it a next-generation Zero-Tangle field-tough tagline. Big claims. What does that actually mean, though, from an engineering standpoint? What makes this thing fundamentally different from just a piece of rope?
Yeah, it really is a complete rethink. Let's start with that tangle-free assurance part. That's not just marketing fluff. It's baked into the design and the materials used. See, traditional fiber ropes, because of how they're woven or braided, the fibers tend to twist and bind under load. The Redtail, however, uses a precision-designed internal core, but the real magic is the sheath. It's this proprietary, very low-friction polymer coating.
Polymer coating.
Right. It's a co-extruded blend, creating this microscopically smooth surface. And that smoothness drastically cuts down on the friction between the strands and just its general ability to bind on itself. So this engineered smoothness means it literally, as they say, kicks tangles and knots into the dirt,
Huh.
because the physics of it work against the very things that cause tangling in normal ropes.
Yeah.
You're not just crossing your fingers hoping it won't tangle. You're using something specifically designed to resist it.
That's a really key difference. It's the material science actively preventing the tangle, not just being strong. But, industrial sites are harsh places. How does that fancy coating hold up to, like sun, rain, chemicals, grit?
That's a great question, and it leads right into its all-weather, field-proof durability. That proprietary Redtail coating isn't just about low friction. It's basically a shield.
Yeah.
Gives it really superior resistance against corrosion, chemical exposure, think oils, solvents, and also the relentless damage from harsh UV rays. Picture this. You're doing a late-night lift out on a West Texas oil patch. Extreme heat, abrasive dust everywhere,
Yeah.
or maybe you're on a coastal utility job, pouring rain, salt spray, high humidity. Traditional ropes, they soak up moisture, weakens the fibers, promotes mildew. UV light makes them brittle over time. This coating is engineered to stay stable, stay protective. It ensures the tagline keeps its integrity, keeps performing. Pretty much no matter the environment, it really is built for, no excuses, no breakdowns.
Makes sense. And what about the safety at the core aspect? How does that go beyond just not tangling or breaking? Are there specific safety benchmarks it hits that standard ropes don't?
Absolutely. Safety at the core really refers to how its whole engineered construction, plus its high visibility design, actively makes the worksite safer. It's more than just meeting basic compliance.
Right.
We're talking about exceeding the performance benchmarks of traditional rope in areas like, say, tensile strength, sure, but also abrasion resistance and, crucially, consistent handling characteristics. For instance, it has a controlled amount of stretch and very minimal recoil. That minimizes dangerous snapback if a load shifts suddenly.
Okay.
And then there's the visibility. That bright, high-vis red color, often with reflective elements woven in, it means the tagline is easily seen. Low light, bad weather, cluttered backgrounds doesn't matter as much. That reduces the chance someone trips over it or misjudges where the load is moving. All these things together contribute directly to lower liability, and they support getting your workforce home healthy every single shift. It's really about proactive risk mitigation baked into the tool.
That makes perfect sense. Clear visibility, predictable behavior under load, very important. And you also mentioned killer control and precision. How does this engineered design actually translate into, better handling for the crew on the ground? Does it feel different?
Oh, completely. It's all about consistent tactile feedback and needing less effort to guide the load. That Redtail-coated tagline, because of that super smooth, low-friction surface and its uniform diameter, it just glides through your hands effortlessly. This eliminates that constant, annoying snagging you get with fiber ropes, or worse, those sudden whiplash jerks when a load shifts, which happens when a normal rope binds up and creates unpredictable resistance.
Right, I can picture that.
So this consistent feel allows for incredibly precise steering and positioning. Think about it. If your team isn't actively fighting the rope itself, they can put all their focus on controlling the load. It means even, say, a less experienced crew member, your greenest hire, can achieve a level of control and finesse you'd normally expect from a seasoned pro.
That's a big deal.
It is. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, features like these just fundamentally transform the predictability and control on any job site. They cut down significantly on the inherent chaos that comes with moving heavy, awkward stuff around.
That level of engineering thought packed into what looks like a simple tool is genuinely impressive. But, as we always say, every job is different. An offshore rig floor has totally different space constraints than, say, a sprawling new construction site. How does PE Energy make sure these Redtail taglines are actually versatile enough to meet all those specific, diverse needs across different industries?
That's a really critical point, because the wrong tool, even a good one, can still be inefficient or even unsafe in the wrong context. That's why PE Energy offers a pretty comprehensive range of lengths. It ensures their taglines are, as they put it, as versatile as your project demands. It's not just about having choices. It's about providing the right tool for the right application. This maximizes both safety and efficiency. So, for example, you've got the 10-foot Redtail tagline. That one's specifically designed for those really confined workspaces, rig floors, drilling platforms, places where space is absolutely at a premium.
Right, less rope to get snagged.
Exactly. In those tight spots, a shorter, highly controllable line is just essential. Then you move up to the 15-foot version. That's often seen as the workhorse, good for light to mid-duty lifts, the kind of thing you want for everyday toolbox reliability. It's a versatile go-to for a lot of standard tasks, offering a good balance between reach and maneuverability.
Okay, so it's about optimizing the length, to minimize excess rope while still giving enough control distance. What about for bigger jobs, larger sites?
Precisely. For those more spacious work sites, they offer a 20-foot tagline that gives you longer reach for less risk, basically letting operators stand further back from the load, which is always a key safety factor.
Makes sense.
Then, when you start dealing with really large loads or maybe taller structures, the 25-foot tagline is built for those kinds of challenges. It's apparently quite popular with field operation managers who need that extra length for better leverage and precise positioning from further away.
Okay.
And finally, for the really huge tasks, when, as they say, you're moving monsters, there's the 40-foot tagline. That provides the maximum standoff distance needed for controlling truly immense payloads on very large sites, keeping the crew as safe as possible. So this whole tailored approach, it isn't just about a menu of sizes. It's really about optimizing how you work for each unique task. And by doing that, you inherently strengthen the overall safety.
Okay, let's talk brass tacks then. What does all this mean for the bottom line? We get the safety improvements, obviously crucial. But why should, say, procurement officers, safety directors, why should they really care about investing in something like this, especially when they're looking beyond just the upfront sticker price?
Yeah, the real payoff here is absolutely in the total cost of ownership. It goes way beyond that initial purchase price.
Yeah.
When you invest in an engineered solution like the Redtail, first off, you can significantly slash man-hour losses.
Oh.
Think about all the time spent untangling old ropes, swapping out frayed ones, retiring cheap ones that just don't last.
Good.
That's real labor cost, real downtime. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It adds up incredibly fast across a crew, across a project. These small inefficiencies, they compound. This kind of product helps transform your lifting operations into smooth, repeatable workflows every single time. That brings consistency, predictability to really critical tasks. And predictability in industry is money saved. Then there's the compliance angle. Having robust, clearly engineered safety equipment helps you kick surprise OSHA fines to the curb. More than that, it lets you wow your safety auditors because you can demonstrate a proactive, superior approach to risk management. It's about building a culture of safety excellence, not just ticking boxes or avoiding penalties.
And I imagine there's an intangible benefit, too, beyond the hard savings. Morale, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. It helps earn the confidence of your teams and, frankly, the boardroom, too. When you reduce near misses, when incident reports go down, people notice. A crew that feels safe, that feels equipped with the right tools, is generally a more confident and productive crew.
Makes sense.
Ultimately, the value proposition becomes crystal clear when you just ask the tough questions. What's a serious injury actually worth? What's the real cost of a single dropped load? Or worse, think about a single hand getting mangled in a tangled line. The answer is always, always significantly more than the cost of any tagline on your wish list. So the investment in an engineered solution like the Redtail, it pays for itself, not just in preventing those big, costly accidents, but day-to-day, in streamlining operations, boosting productivity, and enhancing your company's entire safety reputation.
That makes perfect sense. It's clearly not just about the tool itself. It's about the ripple effect across the whole operation, its efficiency, its safety record, its financial health. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. We've talked a lot about the product, the Redtail tagline, but for our listeners in procurement, in management, the B2B audience, what makes a supplier like PE Energy more than just, a place to buy stuff? What
Yeah.
makes them a potential strategic partner in industrial supply?
That's a crucial distinction in heavy industry, isn't it? A supplier isn't just a vendor. They really need to function almost as an extension of your operational team. PE Energy seems to position itself exactly that way as a partner that, as they put it, sweats the details. They focus on the things that truly matter behind the scenes. Absolute supply chain reliability, batch-to-batch product consistency, and logistics that understand the demands of industry. They get that in this world, an empty shelf or a delayed shipment isn't just an inconvenience. It means project delays, potentially huge costs. They specifically highlight their specialization in rapid bulk procurement for demanding sectors like oil and gas, utilities, manufacturing, heavy industry in general. This structure is geared towards preventing those empty shelves and avoiding those lead time blues that can absolutely cripple a project schedule. And they're product specialists. They aren't just reading from a catalog. They emphasize that these folks are battle-tested in the field, bringing genuine real-world experience of product selection to application advice. Every industrial HD product they carry, including these Redtail taglines, is apparently vetted for performance under real-world stress, not just polished up for showroom demos.
They even point to other meticulously engineered items, like their industrial HD dope brushes, as further proof of this commitment to field-proven performance and durability.
So it's really about that deep, practical, been there, done that understanding of what actually works out on the site. And from a pure procurement perspective, are there other advantages they offer? Maybe pricing, terms?
Absolutely. They talk about offering bulk discounts built for scale, which gives procurement teams the kind of pricing leverage they need for large operations. And importantly, they pair this with handshake clear terms and a zero nonsense return policy. That kind of transparency and straightforwardness is huge for building long-term trust.
But maybe one of the biggest practical advantages, especially for busy industrial managers or safety officers, is their one-stop catalog for safety. They offer a really wide range of essential safety gear. Everything from these taglines to the dope brushes we mentioned to things like load arrest devices. Having that comprehensive offering simplifies the whole procurement process enormously. It reduces the number of vendors you have to manage, cuts down on admin overhead, and ultimately helps consolidate your safety equipment sourcing. As they cleverly put it, the goal is making your next safety audit boring in the best way possible because you've got all your bases covered with high-quality, compliant, reliable gear. It's this kind of holistic approach that really empowers decision makers, moving beyond just selling individual items to providing genuinely integrated safety solutions for the entire operation.
Yeah, it's really clear that from the nitty-gritty engineering of the Redtail tagline itself, all the way up to P Energy's broader role as the strategic supplier, the consistent focus is on delivering, well, game-changing control, enabling a spotlessly safe operation, and giving teams that surplus confidence they need to tackle the biggest projects without that sort of, blink-inducing risk.
Hmm.
This really does seem to be about fundamentally stripping tangles and by extension, stripping significant risk and inefficiency right out of industrial lifting operations. So, as we wrap up this deep dive today, maybe here's something to think about. In this world full of complex industrial challenges, how often do we maybe settle for just good enough with our basic tools or standard protocols, especially when truly engineered excellence, genuinely enhanced safety, is actually within reach? What are those true long-term costs, the human ones, the financial ones, the reputational ones, of maybe neglecting those seemingly small details, whether it's in our safety equipment choices or even in our choice of supplier partner? Just consider how optimizing even a seemingly fundamental tool like a tagline could potentially lead to massive improvements in safety, in efficiency, and ultimately in confidence right there on your job site. What really stands out to you from this deep dive?